Satan has his nets and his hooks in place to keep people snared in his deceptions. This morning I was sent yet another article of someone predicting our Messiah's return. This one has him returning in the fall of 2015. I did not read the article, but by glancing at it, I saw that they have based their prophecy on their interpretation of some of the scriptures, as all have. Example, this is Harold Camping. He certainly did an elaborate job of studying the scriptures in order to come up with his conclusion. Yet we are still here, so he was obviously in error. And he spent much of his life devoted to studying the scriptures to come to his conclusions. So obviously studying them by themselves is not the answer. These men or groups are acting as prophets by declaring the day and the year, but what makes someone a prophet or not is if they were sent by our Creator or not. No amount of studying is going to get anyone into the role of a prophet. His prophets are his chosen servants. We can't choose to be his servants. Of course, we have to choose to serve him, but that's a different matter. I have been speaking that one of Satan's greatest tools of deception is hijacking our Creator's truths and mixing in his lies with it. Satan knows that the end is near, so he has all sorts of counterfeits set up. He also knew that one day one man would be sent forward to proclaim the day and the year of his vengeance because he knows his word. Knowing this, he has led many to come forward falsely with this declaration. They knew the day and the hour. The reason that he did this should be obvious. It is because he knew that their failures would be used to discredit the one whom our Creator would eventually send. And now we are in the thick of it, and with the day almost upon us, and there are many coming forth with dates and prophecy. Yeshua said in Matthew 24:24, because there will arise false messiahs and false prophets, and they will give great signs and wonders. Thus they will deceive, and if they were able, even the elect. Have you ever wondered what these great signs and wonders are, or what they will be? Since we are told by Isaiah that one would be sent forth to declare the day and the year, surely we would have to be given a way to know who was sent by our Creator and who was sent by Satan. Common sense should tell you that our Creator would give us a way to know, since this is his messenger that he's sending forth. And he did give us a way to know. And he told us how to tell who are the enemy's servants as well. He told us that we are here to be tested and proved, and he told us that we have to believe him and obey him. So obviously it should be pretty clear that the test is believing him and obeying him. The proof of who is sent by him is found in his word, just as the proof of who is false is found in his word. It is a matter of hearing from him who is true and who is false. This really is a matter of believing him and acting on this belief by obeying him and trusting him. Then we can enter into a contract with him, and he gives us his 7 spirits to guide us into all truth, but he only gives his spirits to those who obey him. Yeshua said this plainly. I don't know why people can't believe him. People don't want to believe him and trust and obey him. That's the main reason. Because that way they can continue in their lies. Yeshua said, unless you see signs and wonders, you will not believe. He also said that a wicked and adulterous generation seeks after signs. In other videos I have spoken that while I was still in the captivity to lies, towards the end of this time, as I was coming to my Father's call, I was snared into a short season in one of the enemy camps, which has a false prophet who claims that he and his wife are the 2 witnesses. In times past, I have reflected back on why I wanted to believe him. I knew that we were at the time of the end because I could see the signs as so many others can. The signs should be obvious to anyone who is looking even a little bit. And as I perceived the signs and was coming out of the lies of mainstream Christianity, there was this man that claimed to know the date. And this date was closely in agreement with what I was coming to see. So I wanted to believe that he was the real deal. And then I started mixing in the signs of the times with what he spoke, and I fell prey to his teachings. This is how Satan works. He and his servants hijack part of the truth, and they use it for hooks and nets. Of course, Satan's servants do not know that they are serving him, but they're serving him nevertheless. They are sincere, but they pick and choose what to believe in our Creator's Word to fit their beliefs. And this is why they remain in the captivity. And of course, it's why I was in the captivity. It's why all are in the captivity. They do not believe Him. Therefore, they do not have His seven spirits guiding them. Might be being called by them, but if they get grounded in the false beliefs and won't come out of them, His seven spirits that are calling them depart from them, and they stop calling them. And if any of us do not have His seven spirits, we are setting ducks to be molded and programmed by the enemy. It really is this simple. One thing that I noticed while in this organization was how people laid a hold of the signs of the times as proofs that this man was a prophet. They would say things like, I was searching for the truth and praying to the one that they call God for answers, and then I came across his website, and the next day there was a large earthquake, or the news spoke of a widespread flooding somewhere, or whatever the sign was. The really crazy thing is that all of these false prophets are benefiting by receiving credibility because of these signs, because they must happen anyway. They are prophesied to happen. So these people are hijacking what is to be anyway. I've said that in a lot of these videos. As things go forward, people are going to continue to believe these people because they're going to, like Ron Weiland wrote books, for instance. Of course, people would read his books, they find out that all of his prophecies have already failed anyway, but that's another subject. He still spiritualized a lot of it away, so people are still hanging out and sitting on the fence and listening to him. So crazy. So how can you know who is a prophet or not if they are all using these signs that must be anyway as signs that they are sent from Elohim and that they have the truth? There is only one way, and this is if you hear our Creator in His Son's voice or not. It was not designed to be from signs and wonders in order for us to know, at least not until a point of time when He is going to make it known. I reference this point in time because there will come a season when many of you will cry out to Him and He will not hear because you would not hear Him when you had the chance to. He says this in His Word. Up until this point, it is a matter of believing Him, and He told us a description of who He has sent. In order to know who He has sent, you must believe Him because His Word testifies to whom He has sent. So it really boils down to believing Him. This is what saving faith is. It believes our Creator and His Son and those whom He has sent. True faith does not believe in lies, and it does not believe those who contradict His Word. John recorded Yeshua's description of the first fruits whom His temple was built from in Revelation 14:5. In their mouth was found no lie, and they are without blemish. John said that no lie is of the truth elsewhere. He goes on a few verses later here in Revelations to say that the saints are those who have the commandments of Elohim in the same faith as Yeshua. What was Yeshua's faith? Did he believe that we have to keep his Father's commandments or not? Did he keep them and tell us to follow him or not? It should be obvious to any of you that the witness would be one of these first fruits because Zechariah records that the temple was finished with him. If you just believe his word here, so obviously you should know that the witness is going to be not bringing forth lies. And it is easy to prove in his word that our Creator is sending forth one stone and not two at this point to prepare the way for Yeshua's return. Over and over again, it talks about one messenger, one stone, this messenger. His word testifies that Yeshua is the first witness, the other witness. This is easy to prove in his word as well, if you'll believe it, with the prophecies about the seven spirits flowing through the two witnesses and his word telling us who these seven spirits flow through, one being Yeshua and the other being Zerubbabel, who the temple was finished with. The one stone that Yeshua would enter into, be the first and the last. It's pretty straightforward. He gave us the measuring rod, and it is his word. So all that you need to do is measure all of these prophets or ministries that act as prophets or those who say that they are the returned Messiah against his word. We need to measure all against the truth. In order to know what truth is, all you need to do is believe Yeshua. He said that his Father's word or his logos is truth. What word was he talking about? He gave credibility to the writings of the prophets when he was here, and he magnified the Torah as he was prophesied to do by Isaiah. Did he give credibility to Saul of Tarsus coming later with a different truth, a different gospel? No, he warned about those who would come bringing lawlessness. He said in Matthew 24:11, "And many false prophets will rise and will deceive many, and through them lawlessness will increase, and the love of many will wax cold." What law is he talking about? Could it be the law that he said that not one punctuation mark of it would depart from it until heaven and earth passes away? Precept upon precept shows that this law is his Father's Torah that he became. So now all you need to do is measure all who speak as a prophet with our Creator's word and test them to see if they are teaching the Torah in truth or not. And measure them to see if the Torah testifies to them or not. It certainly testified to Yeshua being our Messiah. Why wouldn't it testify to the second witness as well? If you don't believe the Torah, then why would you believe that Yeshua was the Messiah? Because it is what testified to him being the real deal. Without that, we have no proof that Yeshua was the Messiah. Measure these false teachers and false prophets and false messiahs against what was given to us to measure them with. Find out if the Torah teaches a Sabbath that is based on Saturday, or if it teaches a Sabbath that is based on our Creator's calendar. This one is real easy one to prove. All you need to do is believe his word that says that the new moons are commanded worship days, and then believe his word that says that they are always separate from the weekly Sabbaths. And obviously, that can't happen on the fixed day of the week in man's calendar. And believe his word that says that he put the luminaries, and specifically the moon in the sky, for us to use to determine when his appointed times are. And then believe his word when he said that his weekly Sabbaths are also his appointed times. You see, it's all about believing him. And of course, I've spoken several of these videos. There's so much historical proof of this and everything else. It really becomes just total woeful rebellion to reject it. His word is the measuring rod. It is how I found out that the false prophet that I was listening to was false. I kept coming to my Father's call because I kept believing his word over this man. I kept fleeing from the lies, and I was letting his word show me what was lies, and no lie is of the truth. It gets pretty simple as you continue to move forward to the light. The light exposes all darkness. People keep following these false teachers because they are believing what they speak because of the signs of the times. They are believing and watching for signs and wonders instead of believing their Creator. How could this please him? The signs are applying to all of them. Do they teach lawlessness, or are they teaching to live by every word of our Elohim, as Yeshua taught? You might want to ask why none of these false prophets have brought forth the Ezekiel 24 sign. You should ask them this because this is the sign that our Creator said, when this sign comes forth from one who is delivered out of the captivity, you can know that it is from him. So you see, all of this is not rocket science. It is a matter of believing our Creator and acting on this belief by doing what he says. And if you can't believe his word, then he says in Zechariah 4:9, "And you will know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me to you." I can guarantee you that you are not going to like finding out the hard way that he has sent me. Why are most of you who are listening to this so stiff-necked and rebellious? Why won't you believe your Creator and obey him? Why do you want to listen to people who obviously do not teach you to live by Elohim's every word? Why are you waiting for signs to come forth to prove what I'm saying? Why can't you just believe his word? And why don't you obey him without him sending his wrath anyway? The title of this video is Great Signs and Wonders. The false prophets will lay claim that they have prophesied the coming wrath, and they will tell you to listen to them because of this. Will you, or will you listen to your Creator? What will you measure them with? With your own understanding? Do you think that you are able to escape Satan's influence without our Creator's 7 spirits? Do you think that Yeshua lied when he said that his Father would give those who keep his commandments his 7 spirits? I can guarantee you that if you have a lawless heart and his Torah has no place in you, that you do not have his 7 spirits guiding you, because his measuring rod declares this. And I believe it. And I don't believe you who make this claim. For those of you who think that you have his spirit apart from obeying him right, or his wrong, or is he right and his word right? Will you return to the paths of old like the scriptures tell you that you must do? Or will you continue to believe Satan's liars? It really is a matter of believing our Creator's word that Yeshua testified to. And if you do, you will find that it explains that Saul of Tarsus was a liar, just as it explains that all of man's religions are based on lies. Ask these false prophets who bring forth their lies why they have not commanded the people to return to the paths of old and to remember the Torah of Moses with the statutes and judgments like Malachi prophesied. And if they are telling you to return to the Torah, measure that and find out. Are they telling you to return to a Saturday Sabbath or other lies? Pretty basic. Ask them why they have not commanded those who would return to this path to cover their heads like Ezekiel prophesied. Ask them why they have not told them to keep their shoes on, meaning to ready themselves for the coming second Exodus as was prophesied. Ask them why they have not told those who will return to not mourn over the destruction of those who will not return to the Torah as was prophesied. Ask them why they have not told those who follow them to not cover their lips, which means to cry aloud and to spare not at this time, as was prophesied. Ask them why telling their followers to stop eating the leavening of the bread of men has not been their focus, because this was prophesied as well. Granted, some of this one around the Feast of Unleavened Bread, or they mention it occasionally because of their understanding, but it is not their focus, and what they teach is also the leavened bread of men anyway. So they teach this in hypocrisy, a perverted form of it. My point is, if you believe your Creator, it is easy to determine who is false or who is true. Back there about the leavened bread of men, they actually say if their bread is of course unleavened bread. They say they speak the word of Elohim, but all you have to do is measure what they speak against it. It's pretty simple. His word is the measuring rod, plain and simple. Matthew 8:22, Yeshua says, "Follow me and let the dead bury their dead." Following him means following his Father's word, because he was his Father's word in the flesh. Can you believe this? Those who are holding on to lies and following liars are dead men walking. You must leave all for his kingdom's sake. Don't you believe that he said this either? If you do, then maybe you can see why his wrath is being sent. His people will not hearken. And maybe then you can see why so few have been chosen. If you want signs and wonders, you are about ready to get them. But like I said, the wolves are lined up to take credit for them as well. And if you will not believe your Creator to tell you who he has sent, then you will continue to be deceived by these wolves in sheep's clothing. For nearly 6,000 years it has been about believing him and obeying his voice, because you believe him in order to be taught by him and not be taught by the enemy, and this has not changed. He is looking for those who will believe him and to be molded by him to be in his family. If you want to continue to choose to be molded by the lies of the enemy, this is your choice. It is just that you are not going to be around much longer to continue to make this choice.